see the screen?
Yes, we can see and hear you very well.
Yes. The man with no introduction needed, and a legend well known by automotive enthusiasts. Have you seen these cars? I'll recite the names to know if you're familiar with. Ferrari Testarossa, Ferrari 512TR, Ferrari, maybe this is for just a pause. Okay, Ferrari F40, Ferrari F50, Ferrari Enzo Ferrari, Ferrari LaFerrari, and latest SF90 Stradale. They're all beautiful and fast, world record fast. The man behind these masterpieces, under his management, they won over 5,000 races all over the world from 1950 till today era. His name is Enzo Ferrari, Il Commendatore. In English, it means the commander. He is the Italian racing driver, entrepreneur, founder of the Scuderia Ferrari Grand Prix racing team. Enzo Ferrari aimed to win the races. That was his only goal, and he would let nothing stand in his way. Road-going Ferraris, as I mentioned, are nothing related to Enzo Ferrari. They are only just a business to finance his racing team. Enzo Ferrari, passion for speed. In the era of stock for automobiles 20th century, Enzo Ferrari was born on 18 February 1898, same month as I was born. And this is the left upper one, and the left man is Enzo Ferrari, and the right one in black and white photo is his friend Suvachi, and the right picture is from Myanmar. He is a musician and singer Aung, and the lower one who is a footballer, Matthew Ozil. And they really look like Enzo, but he's dead now. Okay, let's continue. Father Alfredo Ferrari. This is the old photo, so it couldn't capture very well. Alfredo Ferrari was a structural metal constructor, and mother is Adelgisa Ferrari. Elder brother Alfredo Ferrari Jr., nicknamed Dino. Their family business was in Modena, Italy. When he was a kid, he wanted to be a journalist or even opera singer. His father, Alfredo, took both of his sons to their first automobile race in 1908. One, Enzo Ferrari, was just 10 years old. Since then, his dream started. In 1916, Enzo's father died because of pneumonia. Okay, and then because of World War I, his elder brother, who joined the army, died of typhoid fever. In 1917, he was drafted into the army. In 1918, Enzo was sick himself so severely. He was left at an old hospital in Bologna with other hopeless patients. In the other way, he was dying. Somehow, by sheer grit or perhaps dumb luck, in 1918, at the age of 20, Enzo was a broken young man, physically, mentally, and emotionally. After the end of the war, he tried to regain the strength he lost during his illness and finally got on with his life. Enzo once applied at automobile giant Fiat, but one engineer refused to accept him. He was in Thurein. He was broken into pieces again because he wanted to be a part of automobiles. No hope, no job, his father dead, his beloved brother was gone. He just sat on the park bench and cried. However, Enzo Ferrari was not a man who would accept rejection so easily. His grief and shame over Fiat refusal slowly turned into rage. At this point, red meant to be rage. He won't give up even if he lived today. He was a war lover. He loved competitions. He loved the day-to-day battles. He was always ready for the fight, whatever it takes, whenever the bell rings. He started racing with his close friend Silverchi, who was an engineer and a test driver in used Alfa Romeo. After several races, they were both given a chance to drive under the Alfa Romeo racing program. He drove from 1920 to 1924. And then he married his first love, Laura Dominica Garelello, in 1923. When Alfa Romeo started P1 racing car to race at Monza European Grand Prix, his friend Silverchi crashed and died before the race. He was shaken by the death of his friend. Then they re-engineered the P1 and named it P2. The car is shown in the picture. Okay. On December 1st, 1929, he opened Scuderia Ferrari, meaning Ferrari staple. In 1932, Laura gave birth to a son. They named him Dino. He was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy that would slowly destroy his central nervous system. 1939, World War II began. Ferrari would collaborate with Italian fascist party. In 1940, Ferrari turned his factory into production of war materials. In order to move to safer ground, he chose Maranello, a town 10 miles away from Modena. At 46 years old, Enzo fell in love with Lina Lodi, a secretary at his company. And next year, she was pregnant, and after 9 months, she gave birth a healthy baby boy, Piero Ferrari. In 1947, Ferrari produced a V12 1.5 liters race car called the Tipo 125. When it won racing in Piacenza, it didn't appear. In fact, from the day forward, he would never attend an automobile race in Ferrari competed. That's really impressive that you can know how confident he is, like a spider sitting in the center of a web. But because of the fuel pump failure, Tipo 125 didn't win. However, it marked the birth of mythic Ferrari car culture and Enzo's empire. He developed some of the fastest racing cars the world has ever seen. This is the figure of how they got fast. Okay, next. Determination. His only goal was to win. First prize was the only one he wanted, and he dominated with his Scuderia Ferrari. How many races? If you ask, 5,000 races. He won everything, whatever competition he entered. But everything has its cost for Ferrari. International racing cost him $1 million a year. So in 1940s, former Ferrari race driver named Luigi Canetti requested Enzo to give him a chance to sell Ferrari road cars in America. Expensive ones only. Actually, Enzo Ferrari had no interest in road going versions. They were only to finance his racing teams. Enzo was satisfied to build any Grand Prix car and try to make a living. On June 30, 1956, when Dino Ferrari, his first son, died, he was just only 24 years old. For the rest of his life, Enzo Ferrari visited Dino's grave every morning. Thus, he would wear his iconic glasses to cover his eye in front of the public. Preventing from seeing your eye is a technique to cover your inner mindset and feelings. This is what I found from Chinese history. Okay. Enzo honored the memory of his son with the Dino Ferrari, as you can see, a car that his son helped to develop and design. Later, other V6 and V8 Ferraris would carry the name Dino. Then his wife Laura found out about his mistress Lina and his 11 years old Piero. With his emotional circumstances, he only focused on one thing to build even faster cars. In 1957, five of Ferrari's most powerful cars ever entered the Mille Miglia, a 1,000-mile open road, and one crashed and killed five children, the driver and the navigator, and 10 other adults. The public shouted on end to the Mille Miglia. Enzo was charged with manslaughter and affected financially and his reputation. In 1961, Italian Grand Prix at Monza, one Ferrari crashed another car and was thrown into the crowd and killed 14 spectators. The driver was neck broken, and he was also thrown away from his car. The pressing Ferraris killing people. Enzo Ferrari was 63. With all these cases going on, Ferraris were still winning on the track. Ferrari versus rivalries, or maybe I can say everyone. By the time of 1960s, they were in financial difficulties, and Ford, an American company, knew that. So Ford offered a $16 million contract. Yes, 16 million of that time. Enzo agreed everything except Ferrari racing management. Ford also wanted to control racing department, and Ferrari declined the call. Enzo was also a proud man. Henry Ford II was like pissed off, and Ford declared war upon Ferrari. And I've recommended Ford versus Ferrari movie once. This is just a reminder. Okay, Ford decided to beat Ferrari at its winning ground, 24 hours endurance races. So you have to drive for 24 hours. In 1960s, Ferrari barely made road cars. They were just a few, but it's dominating the races, especially endurance racing. 24 hours of Daytona, if the laps are counted and combined, every car would drive 2,965.48 miles to finish the 24 hours of race. In the track of Le Mans, it's nearly 3,300 miles with a single car. Okay, there are also some rules. Without breaking down, no system changes, only 3 drivers accepted, and they will be driving at 150 miles per hour or over 250 kilometers per hour. Can every car from 1960 beat and win? No, of course not. Ferrari had won Le Mans 6 times in a row. In 1960, first, second, third, 1961, 1, 2, 3, 1962, 1, 2, 3. In 1963, Ferrari entered with 6 cars, and all 6 cars finished its position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1964, again 1, 2, 3. So Ford is not gonna be occasionally one group. It's a big one. In 1964, European Grand Prix at Monza, Ferrari lost, and Ferrari lost a few more races. It cost Enzo a fortune, but road-going Ferraris were making legends. In 1967, Ferrari was on the edge of bankruptcy. He had to reduce racing program, which he existed for. With no option to choose, he only had to approach his old rival, Fiat. Fiat gives Scuderia Ferrari $11 million. Compared to Ford's offer, it was less, but Fiat allowed Enzo Ferrari to continue racing. But while Fiat will produce road-going Ferraris by production line, they will no longer be handmade. In 1969, Enzo Ferrari's mother died, and his son Piero was in his mid-20s and already got married. Then he came to Scuderia Ferrari to learn his father's business, and Enzo's wife, Laura, burst into the office and shouted, "Where is that little bastard?" After that, Enzo enjoyed his new young family. Piero and his wife, Floriana, had an infant daughter, Antonella. who is Enzo's only grandchild. Later in 1978, when Enzo was 80, Laura Ferrari died. They had been married for 55 years. Okay, she died. Even at the age of 80, Enzo Ferrari refused to retire. In the last year of his life, Ferrari was plagued with painful kidney problems. On August 14, 1988, Enzo Ferrari died quietly in his bed with his family surrounding him. He was 90 years old. Enzo Ferrari's life story is all about automobile racing. From the humble beginnings to the empire he built, Enzo Ferrari will be remembered as the last great titan of 20th century industry he helped to create. Under his 40-year leadership from 1947 to 1988, Ferrari Automobile won more than 5,000 races. But the fact is, nobody knew what he really was. The man with passion for speed, saying no to rejections, refusal, denials, knockbacks, whoever say no to him. He's the kind of man who will say no and say, get out of my way. Thank you, Enzo, because your passion never took a day off. So
It's excellent, I have never ever interested in the cars. I haven't heard about them or seen about them, but it's really interesting for me. And your presentation skills is excellent too. And so I guess all of your friends have interesting questions to ask you. So welcome the questions. Okay, we'll carry on.
About cars, but yeah, your presentation was really interesting. All right, like know that you are also interested in cars. All right, yeah. The question is, or like, if you are walking in his shoes, what's your point will be of building this? I want to know your opinion on it.
If I could be like him, what will I be trying to do? You want to ask like that?
Yes, right. If you're in this place, yes.
Yeah, I would do the same. I would fund my racing team and I would build the world's fastest cars and dominated all the racings and took the title of King of the Cars, or maybe I have mentioned God of Passion for Speed or something. Yeah, I would do that.
Thank you.
I think Aung has many questions to ask because he's a Ferrari fanboy.
So Aung, welcome to you. You can ask your friends questions.
No.
Finally, Aung refused now with only one word to no. So the first question I want to know is, how do you think he managed his family life and his work life?
Actually, it is unacceptable because he took two wives, and actually I didn't mention, but in his biography, he lived like how can I say, double life. He lived with his first wife. He also lives with his second wife at the same time, and they also have child. Each they have two sons, but from different mothers, and I don't know how they manage. But he also work hard, and he also maintained his real family life and his secret family life. Maybe this guy, this old man is really a legend.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to ask questions?
I have one question. Is that what do you think is the key of his that he regains his strength, like despite all his struggles and difficulties. Especially when you mentioned that the bad luck came to him and it didn't go back easily. Like really bad things happen like repeatedly.
Yeah, at that time, World War II began, and there are a lot of flus, and it